Religiously, understand the 7 principles of hell. You'll understand the 7 demons within you. You'll understand that whole concept. It's a whole metaphysical concept. We ain't go over that, but anyway.
Hey, what up, everybody? I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble morning. Continue to have a blessed and humble day. This is Shorty, racheal. I want to welcome all of y'all to the Writers for Life. Brings you the Let's Talk About It podcast, yo. And let's talk about it, man. Today's topic is from tragedy to trial. Make sure he's going to react to, the update to Darnell Jones and the Shannon Sharpe's case. Yo, these two cases is shout out and crazy. All right. When it comes to the Darnell Jones case, right? A lot of people out here for some reason, seem to think that a father cannot violate their own child. But unfortunately, right, we have fathers out here that do violate their kids the same way that we got mothers out here that violate their children, right? This is a real sad case where a father sexually assaulted his daughter and almost decapitated her. For me, I feel as though, right, they should throw the book at him. I mean, listen, I feel as though the death sentence should be at play. So we do have an update from Law and Crime, right, where apparently, right, they're saying that they are considering it, right? Ohio dad who nearly decapitated daughter faces execution. Yo, hey, listen, for some reason, I'm happy for this. This is something that I was asking for, right? And I know that Ohio is known for having the death penalty, right? On one of the lives that I did speaking on the Kimani Latique case, right? When innocence is lost, that's what I named the title. I kept saying that I suggest, I feel as though when it comes to cases like this, the Kimani Latique case, Janiyah Russell, and many more, because trust me, there's many more cases where you'll see a parent violate their child to the ultimate. And I feel as though that, the same way they put a dog down because they got rabies and they bit a human, they should put down the monster that sat here and took the innocence of whoever they took it from. Whether it's a little boy or whether it's a little girl. So we have the case of Darnell Jones, who is accused of sexually assaulting and nearly decapitated his 13-year-old daughter. Kimani Latique was reported missing on March in Ohio. The teen's body was eventually found in a burned out building. Jones has now indicated by a grand jury for his daughter, has been indicted, by a grand jury for his daughter's murder. Law and Crime Store breaks down the latest development on this on the episode. It's crazy, right? Because when you really think about it, right, you will sit here and be like, damn, man, a father will not sit here and harm his little girl. A mother will not sit here and harm her little boy. But unfortunately, we got parents that seem to cut the wings off the backs of their children. Heaven's playground is getting full and God is getting furious. No one is noticing. So we're going to get this John started, right? Before we do, I would like to ask y'all, right, a few questions, right, mind-provoking questions that, deal with the case, right? They're saying that the death penalty, right, the execution is being considered, right? But what does justice look like in cases as horrific as this, right? Should a death penalty be considered in cases, right, that are similar to the Kimani Latique case, right? It doesn't matter if the child, is decapitated or sexually assaulted. What I'm trying to say is when we got parents out here that harm their kids to the point where they're in a casket, right, they should be executed. That's my opinion. That's how I feel. No parent should sit here and look at their child in a sexual way. No parent should sit here and abuse their child to the point where their child is now in a coffin, right? And there are people out here that are saying, right, that that's not Kimani Latique's father. Listen, I can't know for sure. Apparently, it seems like the mother didn't, Let me put it like this. It apparently, it seems he didn't claim his daughter. He's not shown on the birth certificate. You see where I'm coming from? So that right there, I mean, they've done their research. But here's my thing, right? Even if he's not shown on the birth certificate, right? Because there's a lot of mothers that for some reason keep the father out of the birth certificate. Listen, I cannot sit here and say what was the reason why this man is not on that little girl's birth certificate. But I can sit here and tell you that if they did a simple DNA test, you could tell if that's the father or not. All right, that'll be a topic for another day, right? But I would love to hear y'all y'all comments, right? Y'all perspectives on this. Me personally, like I said, DNA test will let the world know if he is her biological father or not. So with that being said, how can communities better protect vulnerable children from harm within their own families? What role does mental health play in preventing tragedies like this, and how can we address it? How do we balance punishment with rehabilitation in cases of extreme violence? What can society do to ensure children in custody arrangements are safe and supported? And what I mean by custody arrangement is cases that go through the court where now the father and the mother are fighting for custody of the child or a parent, like in the Kimani Lateef case, in the Janiyah Russell case, right? What can society do to What can society do to ensure children in custody arrangements are safe and supported? How can we hold individuals accountable while also addressing systematic failures that allow such crimes to happen? I would love to hear y'all comments down below, right? And let's get the discussion started. So we're going to show you the video from Long Crime real quick. We're going to get started with that. Blessings to the chat. I want to, give a big shout out to all my day one subscribers, all my new subscribers, because if it wasn't for y'all, man, Shorty wouldn't be making it, this far on her second channel, man. Big shout out to all those that are sharing my videos, liking my videos, helping a Shorty bring awareness, that are sitting here having conversations with a Shorty, rocking out with a Shorty. But listen, y'all could be anywhere else, but y'all rock out with a Shorty, and we be having the best of conversations, y'all. So let's do this. And before we play this video, right, if you're a troll and you feel like you don't got nothing better to do but to sit here and tap your fingers behind, on a keyboard behind the screen, hey, listen, all I can tell you is over here, we're not dealing with the disrespect, right? I'll 86K your ass out of here if you're disrespectful, right? And I build a casket for you. Bye-bye. We don't got time for the disrespect, right? Over here, all opinions matter, all perspectives matter, right? I love to hear, the ideas that come from people, the solutions that come from people to try, to make a better community for our children. I'm allergic to excuses. Where there's a will, there's a way. And there's always, a solution that could be taken from the table to try out and see if it works out. I don't got time for excuses. Excuses, listen, man, I could wipe my ass with that shit and throw the tissue in the fucking trash. Flush that shit down the toilet. Fuck that. I'm sorry to say it. And if our opinions offend you, the door's right there. Just make sure the good Lord doesn't split you. The doorknob doesn't hit you with a good Lord split you. My bad. Shit. And so, with that being said, let's get this joint started. And let's hear what they got to say.
The man you see being wheeled into court is facing incredibly heinous charges. This video per WTOL. A grand jury indicted this father on 15 counts, including murder, rape, kidnapping, and gross abuse of a corpse. All are related to the death of his own 13-year-old daughter. Her body was allegedly left in a vacant home. But that story is not the only problems that Darnell Jones allegedly caused in Ohio.
Don't do it. What your ass kill me?
Jones is also seen on this body cam video, allegedly pulling a gun on police in another city while he was allegedly on the run. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart.
I feel as though we have a case, right, of a man that has some type of mental health issues. I feel as though everybody around him knew it, that he went to, take the help. No. Right. And me personally, I don't feel bad for people that, it may sound fucked up. It may sound harsh. Right. But we all got options. We all got choices. Right. It's up to you whether you want to take the options that are in front of you and the choices that are in front of you, and see which path, which way you're going to go with it. But at the end of the day, we all got choices. Listen, and the reason I say that is because I've seen so many people, right, with mental health, right? I've seen people with real bad schizophrenia and sit here and get their shit together because they took the help. They wanted the help. The crazy part is, right, you have to want that help. Can't nobody make nobody or force nobody to do or take anything that they don't want to. So like I said, personally, I don't feel bad for the people that don't want the help that they got in front of them when they do have it. You see where I'm coming from? Like, all right, you can make a mistake once, twice, but 3 strikes, you're out no matter what. I treat life like a baseball game. 3 strikes, you're fuck out. And I feel as though that this boy was dealing with mental health. I mean, I feel as though Kimani Latigue's mom knew it. The grandmother knew it. Everybody around knew it. Even the girlfriend that called to the cops to turn his ass in. I feel as though she knew. She knew about his mental health, and she feared what was going to happen next. She had a child with this man, and it's normal for a woman to react like that. Like, damn, if he did that to his own, his oldest child, what would make me think that he won't do it to mine? So I'm not even mad at the girlfriend. So it's like, yo. But anyways, let us show them what y'all think about this. Should they give him the death penalty? Like I tell people, man, somewhere in La La Land and Fantasy Land, man, right along with Peter Pan, I got Peter Pan building caskets for me, right? While out here in the real world, I got the Grim Reaper and the Undertaker with a shovel ready to fucking bury these mofos. Because castration doesn't work. You see where I'm coming from? So at the end of the day, all these predators out here, they got the mentality where they'll just sit here and take it, whether it's a man or a woman. I feel as though they should be buried 10 feet underground. And in this channel, in this house, we build caskets for them motherfuckers. We building caskets up in this bitch.
We have an update on a case that is hard to comprehend and new video of the man that police say is responsible. This is Darnell Jones. He also goes by Darnell Ogletree. This is him being wheeled into court this week in Toledo, Ohio. This video is per WTOL. Now, there are multiple layers to the issues that Jones is now facing, but at the core of this story is the loss of life of a girl who was an honor roll student. She loved playing basketball with her friends, and according to local media, she was set to receive a kindness award before she was killed. Her name was Kimani Latigue. She was just 13 years old. Police say she went missing on March 18th, and less than a week later, her body was found in a vacant house. It's a house that used to stand here. There's now memorials surrounding the lot. We'll get into what happened to the home in just a moment. This in Toledo, Ohio. When Kimani's body was found, there was a warrant out for her dad's arrest. On March 25th, police in Columbus found Jones walking on the street, and this is what happened next.
If you love binge watching and you hate being interrupted by ads, you need Pi. It's a free browser extension that blocks ads on your favorite sites.
I'm definitely not. 148. I apologize for that.
His own 13.
I'm definitely not.
Show me your hands right now. Pull your hand out. I swear to God, pull your.
At that moment, you can see Jones make a sudden movement, and the officer fires multiple times. I can't show you the moment that officer's fired because of the rules here on YouTube. You also might have heard what sounds like Jones saying, quote, "Just kill me," as the officer pulls his weapon to confront him on the street. So let's pick up the video here as officers now search Jones, who is on the ground and wounded, but still alive.
You're not going to tell me that this man had that guilt in his conscience. Listen, I don't care how crazy you are, how shot out you are. That guilt, once you have it up there, man, for some, it'll break them. Some could, I don't know, some way it makes them stronger. But it's a few people that guilt will sit here and make them stronger. I swear to God. The majority of the people that got guilt for doing the things that this man did, that guilt will kill them. This man was on a suicide. Like, yo, I can't sit here and picture a real father doing these type of things to their daughter.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Harris in the second. Your medic,
Don't move.
don't move. All right, suspect down. All you guys are okay. Don't move. He's got 33 right there.
33 in his hand.
No, it's a walkie-talkie, but there's 33s right here. Don't you move or you're gonna get shot. Okay. All right. Got it.
Bless this officer's heart.
That's him.
Somebody get on the main air. Get us a medic.
I'm working on it.
If you look closely at the video, you can see the gun that Jones allegedly pulled on officers. Jones was in the hospital until April 10th when he appeared in court in Columbus. He was held without bond. At that time, he faced a charge of felonious assault on a police officer in Columbus. The court ruled that he would be extradited to Toledo to face the more serious charges of what he allegedly did to his daughter. And that brings us to where we are now in this case. A grand jury returned this 15-count indictment against Jones. We know, according to the coroner in Lucas County, that's where Toledo is, that Kamani Latigue's cause of death was related to multiple incision wounds to the neck. That means that something was sharp, like a knife, and that was used to kill her. But the new grand jury indictment lists graphic and disturbing details about what Jones allegedly did, including not only allegedly murder, but rape. The indictment specifically says that Jones allegedly committed the offense with a sexual motivation, and it lists him as a sexually violent predator. The grand jury also says that Jones allegedly tortured or cruelly abused his daughter, and that Jones allegedly treated a human corpse in a way that would, quote, outrage reasonable community sensibilities. I want to take a moment to talk about one of the
So would that mean that he was looking at his daughter sexually for a while already and couldn't control his urges? Was he trying to groom his daughter, and since it didn't work out, that was his reaction? Because listen, what I want people to understand is, right, groomers don't just watch. They don't just look. They don't just sit here and manipulate the kid. Listen, if they can't they can't get what they, once they feel like they want more, you see where I'm coming from? It'll go from just staring, watching, stalking, right, to actually trying to touch, to trying to get. And when they can't, get it, they'll forcibly try to get it. Let me see. I'm gonna let this play, right, and then I'm gonna play a video of grooming for you.
Sponsors of On the Case, Thrive Market. If you're like me, you care about what you put into your body, but finding those high quality groceries at an affordable price can be really difficult. And that is where Thrive Market comes in. When it comes to shopping for food, Thrive Market is.
Let's get to the story, dude.
All delivered right to my 1,000 sweet potato chips. We work long throughout the.
Ain't no ordering online. Come on.
We
don't order online over here.
Yourself, but preferences. Market has something.
Yeah, these taxes ain't working on me.
Couple of clicks and have the food show up right at your door. Give Thrive Market a try. You can scan this QR code on your screen. You can also use the link in the description box of this video, or head over to Thrive Market and a free gift. Jones is facing 4 counts of aggravated murder, 2 counts of rape, 3 counts of kidnapping, aggravated burglary, 2 counts of endangering children, 2 counts of tampering with evidence, and 1 count of gross abuse of a corpse. Here's what else we've learned when it comes to the investigation into Jones. We've pulled court documents that show he is charged with murder and assault, and in the document originally filed related to an abduction charge, the court records allege that Jones did remove his daughter without the consent of her guardian, reportedly her grandmother, from her home. The document also says that when police spoke with Jones, he gave inconsistent statements about where he went with his daughter. And this is not Jones' first interaction with the legal system. We were able to pull records that go back to 2011 when Jones was arrested for arson for allegedly lighting a commercial building on fire. Then in 2015, he was arrested for carrying a gun after being convicted of the 2011 felony arson. And a witness said he had fired a gun outside a house in Toledo. Then in 2017, we found that he was arrested for felony assault, where police say Jones smashed an alternator into a man's face and sent him to the hospital, where he he had to receive 20 stitches. Then in 2022,
Hey, what
he was
happened?
arrested again for carrying a weapon while having been a convicted felon. And the most disturbing charges, though, those are the ones that he's accused of in the case where he allegedly murdered his daughter. I want to show you this video that we just shot of where.
My thing is, right, why do we got to keep saying allegedly, YouTube? Why do we got to keep saying allegedly when there's proof out there? The man confessed. Should we still keep saying allegedly even after he confessed?
Where the vacant home once stood, where Kamani Latigue's body was found in Toledo. Again, this was a vacant building. If you look at this image on Google Maps, you can see what this house looked like. But this past weekend, the home burned down. The home has become a place where people have come to place flowers to honor Kamani Latigue's life, a life that was cut so.
Wait, he said this past weekend the home burnt down, so they burnt the house again?
But this past weekend, the home burned down. The home has become a place where people have come to place flowers to honor Kamani Latigue's life, a life that was cut so short. Again, just 13 years old. Latigue was in the care.
Damn, I wonder who burnt that house down again. Why would they burn the house down? That's crazy. But they was going to tear that property down anyways. Things that make you wonder.
Of her grandmother. Jones did not have custody. This family was known to the local family services organization. In the wake of Latigue's death, a task force was formed to investigate Lucas County Children's Services and how they handled the case. The head of the organization told WTVG-TV that they feel they were thorough in her case. They say that Kamani was in the custody of her grandmother, who admitted to using physical discipline, but there was no evidence that meant that Kamani should be taken from the home. They also say the teen said she felt safe in the home. WTOL reports that the agency says there is no mention of Darnell Jones in their records. Joining us now is prosecutor and former deputy attorney general for the state of Ohio.
And I'm going to pause it right here, right? And I'm going to say this. Blessings, Harlem Romero. Blessings, how you doing this morning? I'm going to say this, right? That's where I'm looking at the grandmom sideways. Because if the grandmom had doubts that this man was not her granddaughter's father, why was she letting this man around? Let me put it like this. Why was the grandmom letting this man take her granddaughter out on the weekends to his house if she had any type of doubt that this man was not related to his granddaughter? I would have took it to the courts. He is claiming to be my granddaughter's father. I want a DNA test and I want supervised visits. Something. But the grandmom didn't show any type of, even when, she was out here searching for the granddaughter, there was no type of, any type of emotions coming out of the grandmom. She seemed like these type of evil grandmoms that just doesn't give a fuck. Those type that will sit here and, have a favorite grandchild while she makes the other ones feel like shit. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But something's off with the grandmom, and I'm still trying to figure out why. Why is it till today the grandmom isn't behind bars? How can we hold individuals accountable while also addressing systematic failures that allow such crimes to happen? Because whichever way you want to look at it, Kamani Latique was being failed by all sides, by all parties. The Department of Human Services, the grandmother, the mother, the father, the aunt, the godmother, and everybody around that knew what was happening. And I feel as though that charges should be pressed against those that knew that this little girl was getting abused.
Now, Mark Weaver, thank you, sir, for taking the time to be with us on what is such a difficult story. We have this 15-count indictment returned by a grand jury. What should we take away from what the grand jury put forward in this case against Darnell Jones?
This is Lucas County, Ohio, where Toledo is. We don't see a lot of death penalty cases coming out of Lucas County. This will be a death penalty case unless it gets reduced in some sort of plea agreement. So this will move forward as a death penalty case. I've worked on numerous of them, both death penalty cases, both as Deputy Attorney General and then as a prosecutor. Much more difficult case to bring. Every bit of due process you can imagine is built into it. All of the work of the prosecutor has to be exacting and painstaking to make sure everything is done correctly. So I imagine that the Lucas County prosecutor will put their very best people on this.
And when you look at a 15-count indictment, and it's horrific what this man is accused of doing to his own daughter.
Very horrific.
What is the difference between a grand jury putting forth an indictment and then where the process goes from here, where eventually, if Darnell Jones is convicted, the difference between that grand jury phase and then the trial jury phase?
Under the Ohio Constitution, every felony charge must be brought forward by a grand jury. As your viewers know, that's a group of citizens who meet in secret and look at the evidence to see if there's probable cause that a felony was committed. So the grand jury handed up this 15-count indictment with all of these felonies, any one of which could serve 10 or 15 or 20 years. Some of these will merge, meaning that he can't be sentenced on all 15 of them, but he can be convicted on all 15 of them. And it now moves to the trial process.
Why can't he be convicted of, why can't he be charged of all 15 counts? He could be convicted. No, wait, he could be charged, right? But he can't be convicted. Why can't he be convicted of all 15 charges? Give this man a death penalty. This should be the start of any parent that sits here and does things like this to their child. This is what should happen to them. Doesn't matter where. Texas, Philadelphia, Washington, Ohio, Georgia, Illinois, Louisiana. I don't care. I feel as though the death penalty should be given to any parent that sits here and cuts the wings off their children. We're building caskets no bigger than 3 feet to lay underground. 3 feet. Oh, snappity snap. We got the beautiful Selena in the building. Blessings, Selena. Welcome. Guys, make sure y'all go check out Selena. Great conversations, great topics, and she be doing some of the greatest interviews here on YouTube. Make sure you go check her out, y'all. I feel as though they should not think about it. They should. I'm doing good. I'm chilling like a villain. I'm here trying to get my shit together. But I'm doing good, better than yesterday, man. With a little bit of patience, I'm making it to, like I said before when we had our last conversation, when you did that interview, man, I'm reaching each one of those little goals little by little. Just with a little bit of patience. We reviewing and reacting to Darnell Jones. They're talking about they might be giving him he might be facing execution, right? And like I've been telling people, man, this is something I've been talking about for the longest. Me personally, I feel as though parents, right? Not just parents, right? Because it could be anybody, parents, family members, friends, community members, right? People, how can I say, people with higher authority that'll sit here and take the innocence of any child, right? I feel as though that the death penalty should be the first option. The reason why I say that is because when it comes to predators that sit here and take the innocence of children, right? Castration doesn't work. There's no cure for this. You see where I'm coming from? Castration has been done to people that have done things like this, right? And what's crazy is it has been proven that they'll find other ways to sit here and violate people. So to me, I feel as though that putting them in a casket and burying them is the solution. And it shouldn't just be done in Ohio. And it's crazy, right? It took for me to, dive down this case for me to learn that Ohio is one of the states here in America that deals with the death penalty. I wish Philly had the death penalty, but Philly don't have the death penalty. Shit. Yo, man. These are things, right? Man, I gotta say, if I knew then what I know now, man, back then I would have been that little kid. I want to be a lawyer. I want to make a difference. But even if you step foot in the judicial system, right? Judicial system. Rachel, pronounce it right. Judicial system, right? It's like you become a puppet to the system. You have a better chance fighting this, right, as we the people, than becoming a politician. And that's why I prefer to have one foot in the streets, right, and one foot in politics. I don't want to fully become a politician because at the end of the day, I know that I'll be the one in the casket because the changes that I want done will work. But they're going to censor my ass for it. But I'm just hoping they got enough tape and enough rope to censor and tie a Shorty the fuck down.
There will be pretrial motions. Almost certainly defense is going to raise some sort of competency issue. There's very little daylight for them to be able to move around in this case. So I would imagine we're going to see some form of incompetency issue. Maybe they have some quarrel with how he was arrested or if there was a search warrant. So there's likely to be a motion to suppress. So these pre-trial motions that happen in the months ahead of a criminal trial, that's the phase we're moving into next.
You look at this case and the family was known to the local child and family services organization in Lucas County, but there was no evidence from what we've heard so far that there was no evidence to remove this child from the house from previous instances. She had been in the care of her grandmother. In your experience, what do you take away from what we're reading about?
She has been under the care of the grandmother, but since the grandmother was given permission to bury Kaimani, where is the Latique family? I would think that you would still hear from them, right? Justice for Kaimani. But after the funeral, they all faded. Where they at?
About some of the potential red flags leading up to the death of Kamani Latique.
Well, there's the criminal case, and it appears this man, Darnell, two different names, last names, I'm not sure which is the right one, but it seems like Darnell is squarely at fault and culpable for this case. He's presumed innocent until he's proven otherwise, of course. But then there's a civil case, potentially, to see whether or not the county committed any negligence in supervising this child. I've worked with a lot of children's services agencies over the years, and here's the thing that most people don't know. They are overwhelmed with cases. They're overwhelmed with allegations and referrals, and they are not mind readers. So when they go out to a home to do a check on a child, they can't know that perhaps there's a father out there with deeply evil intentions who's going to show up one day and do the sort of crimes that this man has been charged with. And so,
okay. All right, I hear you. But with that being said, right, should there be stricter laws on monitoring for individuals with custody of children, right? And what I mean by that is for people that, for parents that are sitting here, right? Or let me put it like this, parents or guardians, right, that are taking care of children, right, that have kids, they have to go to court, get in front of a judge, right, get custody of these kids. Should there be stricter laws or monitoring for these individuals with the custody of their children? Because look what happened in the Kaimani Latique case, right? There were so many red flags. And me personally, I feel as though when the teachers sat here and made those complaints, DHS should have should have pushed that investigation. They said they had no proof, right? But when these claims were made, right, allegedly Kaimani was full of bruises. When DHS first comes in and they get a case like this, the first thing they do is take pictures of the child. Were there pictures taken from DHS? Me personally, I feel as though, right, DHS, the Department of Human Services, has to enforce their policies, have to enforce the laws, but they don't do it. What steps can we take to ensure justice for victims like Kaimani Latique in the future?
it's a high standard to sue the county to say that they're somehow responsible, but we see it often in cases like this.
Yeah, and you look and I just think of your time as a deputy attorney general, and you see some of the challenges in the state of Ohio, and we've heard stories of child and family services organizations, how overwhelmed they are, and sometimes it seems we only hear about them in cases where people are like, why didn't you do more in that situation? But in these cases, I mean, typically, what is the bar? And I know your experience is more from the prosecutor's side, but what is the bar to remove a child from a home?
Well, and ironically, in Ohio, the prosecutor's office is the statutory counsel for the Children's Services Agency. So when they get sued, the prosecutor defends. It's not true in every case, but it is in Ohio. That's how it works. You have to be able to show that the people who were supposed to be monitoring this child, the people who work at the Children's Services Agency, had some reason to know that this was possible or even likely, and that they ignored that. It's a pretty high standard. It can't just be that they weren't careful and didn't check every box. It has to be something that would suggest that they were well outside what we expect from our children's service workers. And if that's true, then the county can be sued for money damages, and that case would be brought by the family of the dead child.
Going back to talking about the death.
So is he saying that the family has a lawsuit in a way? Ooh, he said this very out loud. Now watch the family surface.
Penalty and the possibility of that being the fate of Darnell Jones if he is indeed found guilty of what police are alleging. What does the process look like where someone commits murder? It's awful. But if they were to commit murder at the level of what we're reading in this grand jury indictment and what police are saying he did, how does it get to that bar where the state decides that this is a case where life in prison is not good enough if someone's found guilty?
So in most states, certainly in Ohio, we have murder charges, and then we have aggravated murder charges. So murder is your actions killed somebody, and aggravated murder is your actions killed somebody, and you acted with prior calculation design, and maybe it was a certain kind of somebody. Maybe it was a police officer. Maybe it was a child under 13. Or in this case, maybe you were committing another felony in addition to the murder, and that makes you death penalty eligible. These are aggravating circumstances to murder, which is why we call this form of murder aggravated murder, or also known as capital murder. Now, let's be clear. I will not be surprised, nor should your viewers be surprised, if there is a plea agreement that goes something like this.
Oh, wow.
Prosecutor to defense counsel. If your guy will plead to ag murder without the death spec and accept life in prison, we will drop the death penalty charges. We'll go. And this will be done in a few months.
Don't give him
I suspect that sort of conversation will happen. Who knows? The defendant has to agree to that. Maybe he thinks he can roll the dice and get past this. But if he would like to avoid being executed, that's one way to do it.
Nah, man, screw that. Man, don't give him no plea deal. With that being said, what can we as a society, what can we, the people, do, right? Like, yo, this shit is crazy. Like, yo, what role does the justice system play in preventing such horrific crimes, right? Like, I got so many questions to ask we the people. Like, what solutions can we bring to the table? How can we better support children in vulnerable situations before it's too late? What lessons can we learn from this case to create a safer future for all children? How do we balance the need for justice with the hope of rehabilitation in cases like this? What can we do to raise awareness about the signs of abuse and intervene earlier? How can we hold individuals accountable while addressing systematic failures? What does accountability look like in cases of such unimaginable violence like this in the Kimani Lateef cases, Janiyah Russell, and much more? Once again, if we want to help our children, we're going to have to step up. We're going to have to wake up from whatever days we're in, from whatever manipulation, brainwash we got, and snap the fuck out of it and come into reality. Wake up and smell the coffee in the morning and get our shits together. If we say that the kids are the future, then what the fuck are we doing to make a change and a difference to better their future? Because as far as I'm seeing, too many parents, I don't know if it's that, right now in reality, is like Resident Evil. Like, you know how in the movie they sat here and they threw a vial right in the vent and then everybody started getting contaminated? Well, I feel as though like that's what's happening right now. Little by little, people are just fucking transforming into fucking zombies. Brainless ass zombies that don't think.
Why would the prosecutors, if they have, and it appears they have a lot of evidence, apparently he also admitted to police officers that he did this. That was according to WTOL and documents that they looked through. So it seems like if you're prosecutors, why would you want to make a deal if you already have a mountain of evidence and you feel pretty good about how strong your case is?
As a prosecutor, I always want to move forward and try cases. I do this on a part-time basis. In Ohio, you can be a part-time assistant prosecutor. So this is where I get my jury trial experience. So I enjoy prosecuting cases, but sometimes it's better to resolve it this way. Here's why. Number one, we have not had an execution in Ohio for more than 8 years. There's been a dispute over the form of execution, which is lethal injection, and the kind of chemicals available.
Oh man, screw that. Either do what was it that We Unlock Nation said? He said death by fire or fire what was it? He said fire squad, something like that, right? Either that or the lethal injection, because he can come back from the electric chair. There is a possibility of this man coming back from the fucking electric chair. Screw that. Lethal injection. Or what is it? Fire squad? Was it that We Unlock Nation said? I didn't even know that fire squad. I thought it was just lethal injection in the electric chair. But I guess that, fire squad, whatever that shit is called, exists. But damn, 8 years ago was the last time that Ohio had an execution. Damn. Hold on. Let me see. When was the last time that Ohio had a execution? The last execution in the state was in July 2018 when Robert J. Van Hook was executed via lethal injection for murder. Is anyone on death row now? Facing combined 118 death sentences in 2024. One death row inmate has resentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole, and 3 others were deemed ineligible for the death penalty due to an intellectual disability or mental illness. Yo, watch them try to plead mental illness on this mofo to get him off of the death penalty. One way or another, they're going to find a way not to let this happen. They're just going to give him life in prison. Watch. They're going to give him a plea, which I think is fucked up. There's no cure for mofos like this, whether it's a man or a woman. Once again,
available to make that lethal injection happen. So Ohio is not currently executing people. Number two, there is so much scrutiny on death penalty cases in the appellate process. It can go on for years and years and years. And the loved ones of the person who was murdered don't get the closure they would if there's a sentence that says, yep, you're going to prison for the rest of your life. You pled to it, so your appellate rights are very limited. If it's resolved that way, the victim's family will leave the courthouse knowing almost certainly that this life in prison sentence will stick. In a capital case, and I remember meeting with the families of the victims of a serial killer who I prosecuted a death penalty case. I met with them right after the conviction and the sentence, and they asked me, is it sure, are we sure that this is going to happen? And as I always say, you can never be sure. In a death penalty cases, there are so many appellate rights and so much scrutiny brought on it. Any court, state or federal, can overturn that verdict and send it back down for another trial.
What does the timeline look like on this case? And how do we get to the point where the judge or jury would say that the death penalty is what we're going with for a sentence for Darnell Jones if he's found guilty?
So from the date of the indictment, a defendant has to be brought to trial within 270 days in order to guarantee his speedy trial rights. If the defendant is in jail awaiting trial, every 1 day counts as 3. So it's essentially 90 days to bring it. What almost always happens, I haven't seen this in this file yet, but what almost always happens, the defense waives that speedy trial right. So they have time to look at the evidence. Or if they file motions, it tolls or pauses the speedy trial clock. So in theory, it's supposed to happen in 90 days. Almost never does it happen in 90 days because of those pausing events that I just told you about, either voluntarily pausing or filing a motion that causes them to pause. During this time, the defense counsel will be looking at all the evidence that the prosecutors and police have amassed, looking for some hole in the case. As I mentioned, probably filing a competency motion or filing a motion to suppress, trying to find some way to get their guy out of what appears to be a pretty strong case.
Yeah, and I think, too, that it's not the only case that he's facing, because when he was arrested, he allegedly pulled a gun on police, and police had to shoot him. We have the body cam video of that. So he's facing felonious assault on a police officer in Franklin County, Ohio. How does it work where he has a lot of layers to his legal case in Lucas County, but then you also have a very serious case in Ohio as well, in Columbus, Ohio?
Yeah, Franklin County was where Columbus is. That case has been dismissed for now. It can be brought again. They dismissed it in Franklin County to allow for the extradition of this defendant back to Lucas County, where his real problems are. I wish I could tell you that people who commit felonious assault on police officers in Franklin County go to prison for long periods of time, but they typically don't. And so I'm sure that the Lucas County prosecutors were happy to have the case essentially dismissed in Franklin. It could be brought again, but his real problem is in Lucas County. I wouldn't expect that you'll see anything in Franklin County unless something goes sideways in Lucas. If for some reason there was a procedural defect and that case gets dismissed, then you would see Franklin County, hopefully, depending on that prosecutor's ethos, bringing a strong case for that felonious assault charge against the police officers in Columbus.
Yeah, because how long does you would think someone who would pull a gun on a police officer and in that situation that would be enough for someone to see prison time, but that typically doesn't happen there?
Well, there's a lot of it. First of all, there's a 6-year statute of limitations, so that case can be brought anytime in the next 6 years. But depending on the judge you get, and judges are elected in Ohio, and different judges have different perspectives. Some of them come from a defense lawyer background, and they're much less likely to give out a serious sentence. And so as a result, the best chance for this...
I mean, judges are elected everywhere. When you look at it, right, even in Philadelphia, I can go sit here and, vote in a judge. But people don't, take the time to, how can I say, do their research, right? It's like, I think now, it's already 2 years that passed. Yeah. Now they're going to do the votes in, I'm not sure when. I think it's either this month or I think it's next month starting. Yeah. Next month, they're going to be voting in the judges, the lawyers, and all that. So it's the judicial voting elections. It's coming up. Then you're gonna have the I forgot what it's called. I know it goes by three layers, right? 3 tiers. Judicial, legislators, and then it's the president. Something like that. Shit. But you could vote in these judges and these lawyers anywhere. Doesn't matter what city or state you're in, is my point.
Defendant to be in prison for the longest time is going to be this case in Lucas County, which will either be pushed to a death penalty trial, which is a significant, difficult undertaking, or, as I suggested, will be pled down to a straight aggravated murder without the capital spec, meaning life in prison without any possibility of the death penalty.
I'm always fascinated for the people who try cases and the responsibility, and you know it as well as anybody, the responsibility you carry, even in a case where it seems like you have every piece of evidence in the world to convict this person who's incredibly dangerous based off his criminal record in the past and what he's accused of right now. What is it like to be in the prosecutor's office and being the person who is going to be trying this case if it gets to that point?
It's an exhausting process. As the prosecutor, you have the complete burden of proof. The defense counsel doesn't even have to prepare and show up with a case. They do, but they have no burden of proof. And so when we all sit down at trial and the jury takes their seats in the jury box and the judge looks over to the prosecutor and says, Mr. Weaver, on behalf of the state of Ohio, you may begin. All of the burden is on us. Have we identified every possible witness and given it to the defense? Have we talked to each witness so we know what they're going to say? Do we have our questions ready? Have we marked every piece of evidence? Was it gotten properly? Was it shown to the defense counsel? Then we have the questioning process. The other side gets to cross-examine, and we come back and we get direct examination. Then we have the opening and closing statements, and we have maybe a rebuttal case, which comes after the defense case. At any point, if the defense counsel says something was done wrong and asks for a mistrial, the entire thing can stop and has to start over again. Or in significant cases, sometimes can't even start again. So the prosecutor's got a tremendous burden on them. I will be in trial next week, for example, on a child rape case that I'm on the prosecution team for. And so I know this weekend I'll be spending a lot of time looking at that.
All right, I'm gonna pause it right there, man. Unfortunately, right, I feel as though, listen, they say the system is broken. The system is doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing, right? It's the people running the system that are doing what they want to do. So as we the people, we got to do something. The question is, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? And when are we going to do it? But we got too many people out here, waiting for Superman to come and save them. And unfortunately, they don't seem to understand that Superman's not coming. You have to do it for yourself. It starts from home, and then you can come out here and try to, help. But before we get on to the Shannon Sharpe, right, I want to show y'all the video, right, that I was going to tell y'all, that I was going to show y'all about what is grooming, right? What's child grooming? Survivor urges parents to recognize. So I want y'all to look at this little video real quick before we get into the Shannon Sharpe controversy. Oh, I got to add it now to the screen? Oh, shit. So this video should be explaining the red flags of grooming.
Carla Solomon, at the core, is a survivor
of child sex trafficking and adult commercial exploitation.
Hers was a severe case, but it started the way most child sexual abuse starts.
Grooming is when a predator is basically seeking out a victim to prey upon in many different ways. They make the child feel seen. They make them feel loved. They will eventually use different things like bribery or exploit their vulnerabilities.
People think it's not happening where my child lives. It's not happening in our schools.
It is. I will be the first to tell you, I've done work all over San Antonio and the surrounding hill country area. It's everywhere. What these predators do is they gain access wherever they can, whether that be at school, church.
This month, a perfect example. A former Judson ISD assistant coach was just arrested for allegedly luring students to send explicit images and messages in exchange for gifts. The charge? Grooming, a third-degree felony. Then at the beginning of the month, a Jubilee San Antonio teacher was arrested accused of having an inappropriate relationship with a student. In mid-April.
Was it wrong? Yes, it was completely wrong.
This student says a McCollum High School coach had a sexual relationship with her. He's not been charged or arrested, but no longer works at the school. And lastly, a month ago, SAISD confirmed a teacher allegedly had a relationship with a former student. He wasn't arrested either, but is no longer with the district.
He wasn't arrested either, but no longer in the school. And what I keep telling people is, right, people may seem, groomers just look, they take pictures. You know that when they're not satisfied enough, grooming goes to a deeper step, like a deeper stage, right? They'll sit here and go from grooming to touching, right? And when they can't get what they want, they'll take it by force. That's what people don't seem to understand. And the red flags are there. What's crazy is, right, on this channel, right along with conversations I've had out there, with people, not just on my channel either, right? Not just in my community, but channels that I've been on, we've talked about these topics. And what's crazy is, right, in our schools, we got the biggest predators there is. That's why I feel as though, like I say time after time, right? We're going to have another live on what's going on in our schools, right? The more teachers are getting arrested for having sex with minors, right? So we're gonna have another live involving, what's going on in these schools. Once again, where there's a way, there's a will, right? We can find a solution for this. The question is, right, what solution is we the people going to pick up from the table and see that works? Like, I'm not asking, people to sit here, put money in. No, what I'm telling is put y'all time in to not just help your child, right? Not to just me, because I'm putting my time in, and I'm not just thinking about my child. I'm thinking about all the kids that are out here walking these trenches, because my child doesn't just walk alone. You see where I'm coming from? My child walks in a little group, right, of friends, whether there's bad apples or good apples in that group. My child is still involved. So as a parent, I'm going to be involved in this community to make it safer. Try to get them off these, corners, trying to get them from doing stupid shit, trying to get them from being followers to being leaders. And what's crazy is, right, is you born a leader or are you made a leader? And I feel as though, people are born, right, with the strength to learn to become leaders. And these kids ain't no different. But we got predators everywhere, and grooming can happen inside your home, outside in your community. It could happen in a hospital. It could happen in a school. It could happen in a church. It could happen at a hospital. And people don't seem to understand that. But for some reason, right, people see the red flags and stay, shh. But stop thinking that because, you hear the word grooming. Oh, that grooming, the groomers don't take it as far as trying to sexually assault. Yes, they do. That's how it starts.
Like, this isn't a scare tactic, not trying to scare parents, because we can build resilient kids and educated kids.
And we can build kids that can look out for their peers and speak up.
Solomon trains DPS special agents, sits on the state's Human Trafficking Survivor Council, helps trafficking victims recover, and just wrote a book. But she says the most simple and important work happens at home.
And I don't want to say just one conversation with your kids about what's appropriate and what's inappropriate. This is an ongoing thing.
So if something feels off, kids will come forward before abuse even happens. Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
Whoa. I was about to close the wrong page. All right. So there y'all go, right? That's a little info for y'all about grooming. I just want y'all to understand that it exists everywhere, right? And when it comes to this live, us speaking on Darnell, me bringing the update on Darnell Jones, like I said, is us trying to bring solutions to the table. Big shout out to all those that have joined the Shorty's live when we've brought up these topics, have shared the videos, right? Have sat here and helped the Shorty bring awareness to these topics, because we can bring solutions to the table. We can make a little difference, right, in our communities to make, a better tomorrow for our kids. Like, people don't seem to understand that. But, people want shit given to them. And that's not how, we're teaching these kids. But while, we get ready, like I said, I've asked mind-provoking questions throughout this live, about this topic. I would love to hear your comments down below, and let's get the discussion started. So we're about to, hit on Shannon Sharpe topic, right? But before we do, let me get a couple things together, right? And then we'll get into the Shannon Sharpe live. Like, Shannon Sharpe, man. I can't understand. Like, I feel as though some men, right, fall into these traps because they want to. They don't care. They know what they're doing, but they don't care about the consequences, is my point. But, I'll be right back with that being said. Oh, we back. My bad. That's some real shit, man. I love that lyrical poem. A lot of people love it too. I uploaded the wrong video, but I'm gonna upload that John. And that's something, right? Big shout out to the word, man, because if it wasn't for him, man, I would have been motivated to write that poem. So a big shout out to the word. I don't think I got any moderators in the chat right now, right? So shout out to him. And you know, big happy birthday to Word. His birthday was yesterday. So feliz cumpleaños, Word. I don't got no male singers, right? But you know I love Dej Low, man. And it's a bull's birthday. So let me stop the screen. I had this John set up, but I just remember while listening to the word, I was like, yo, his birthday was just yesterday. Like I was just on his live yesterday. So big shout out to Word once again. Happy birthday. So let me get in my little Dej Low bag.
Hey, Lenny, can you bring me a lighter real quick? That might be my tag for my producer shit when I start making beats. Oh, I'm going in. Let me do the whole song. It's my birthday, hey. It's my birthday, hey. She gon' get the twisted on the floor with her legs. Please don't get it twisted. This bitch about her bread.
And that's how you had Shorty yesterday, where you had wifey all up in the pole yesterday. Happy birthday, y'all, big dude. So big birthday celebration to the bull, right? The word, aka Coach D. Hope you enjoyed your birthday last night, man. And hope, like, you know, like Dej Low said, you left your wifey wobbly, man. And hope you enjoyed that day, yo. I don't know if you're watching, but listen, word, man. Enjoy your birthday. Great motivator. Enjoy your channel, man. Like, keep doing what you're doing, yo. Even though you're a dinosaur, right? In your past life, you're just 41 in this life. We're all right, we're gonna get started on Shannon Sharpe, right, man? Shannon Sharpe. So Shannon Sharpe has gone viral because he couldn't seem to keep his Johnson in his pants. All right, so a lot of people have been asking me about Shannon Sharpe. What is my opinion, right? What are my thoughts about Shannon Sharpe? But until recently, right, I didn't really hear the audio and stuff like that. But we do got, you know, indisputable. We're gonna hear what they gotta say. Hopefully, Dr. Richie, you know, got a good perspective on this case, right? But Dr. Richie does have the audio, so we're gonna be listening to the update, right? More disturbing audio of Shannon Sharpe expose me, right? When it comes to these cases, when it comes to these topics, these situations, I want to hear a little more, right? It's too much when it comes to this. I've been hearing he say, she say. The most legit thing I've heard was when Shannon Sharpe spoke himself and he was giving the update, saying, you know, that he's being set up and these audios. Other than that, the he say, she say, I'm not going for it, right? Because we know that a lot of women out here could be malicious. I don't know what was going on here. You see, in Shannon Sharpe or this Shorty's bedroom, I wasn't there. I don't know if she was a mistress, a side chick, what she was to Shannon Sharpe, right? Because there's so many rumors, right, going around about Shannon Sharpe and the Shorty. Some are saying that she was 19, 18. Some are saying she's 20, 21. I'm not sure how old she is, right? But with that being said, how should public figures handle allegations of this nature while maintaining their careers and reputation, right? Because in the process, I also heard that Shannon Sharpe stepped down from ESPN, right? I don't know if he's going to step down from his own podcast, but one thing I can sit here and say, right, when it comes to the older men, I get it, younger chick, right? Lesser baggage, you can mold her, right? Shout out to the word for having this little conversation yesterday on his birthday. All right, I get that. But if you know what comes with it, like the, you know, the lack of knowledge, the lack of wisdom, right? how can I say it? They are ignorant to certain facts, right? Why would you want to bring that, especially at the age of 50, 56, 60? Why would y'all want to come and deal with it? It's like dealing with a child. That's why I can never understand, older women and older men that want to sit here and have relationships with teens. I'm saying, yeah, these mofos don't even know how to wipe their ass. And y'all want to sit here and have relationships with them? Why? You want to teach them how to take baths, how to cook, how to, wash their ass, how to do everything? I'm not understanding this. Instead of being with somebody your own age that could understand you a little better. You know how they say age ain't nothing but a number? I feel as though that it does matter. Because you got to realize, right? While one was crawling, the other one was walking. While this one was walking, that one was running. 3 different stages. I mean, let's make sense of it. What role does media play in shaping public opinion during high-profile legal cases like in Shannon Sharpe? And how do we balance, right, the presumptions of innocence with the need of support of alleged victims? Should personal behavior off camera impact a public figure's professional opportunities? Why or why not? With that being said, guys, I would love to hear your comments, your opinions, your perspectives, right, down below. And let's get the discussion started. So let's hear what Dr. Ritchie has to say about the Shannon Sharpe, and let's hear the audio.
Shannon Sharpe saga. All right. Disturbing audio of Shannon Sharpe exposed. We're going to get into it. Here it is.
Well, what, Gabby?
Well, you're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Gabby.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah.
Why she sound like that? Like, I know I'm not tripping. I mean, did he fall into a trap for real, for real? Because if you listening to her, is this AI? Is this really a conversation between these two on the phone? Because she's like, well, I'm not really interested in going because I'm not interested in getting choked. Why is she talking like that? Could she be? No, I don't know. I mean, listen, I don't want to say she was in fear. There are men out here that'll sit here and put fear. I mean, he is a way older man. She is young, stupid, naive, ignorant. So, I don't know. Let's continue to listen. Let's listen. So maybe I can give a better perspective on this.
I might choke you in public. Big black guy.
I'm getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Gabby.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
We're going?
Yeah. I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
Big black guy chokes a small woman? What do you say?
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you do what you did to me.
There is a second.
Wait, she said it's not a good look, Shannon. He said it's not a good look when you did what you did to me. Does he sound mad? But why is she talking like that? She sounds like she got something in her mouth, or like if she's kind of like in heat or something. You know how them chicks in the porn videos be sounding? That's how she sound. Listen, it's gonna sound like I'm bashing her, so I'm gonna just stop saying what I'm saying. My intent is not to bring her down or bash her. We don't know if she's, a victim or not. We don't know what's going on, right? This is all Hollywood. We know the world is a stage. Could this really be happening? Are we getting, a hoax pulled? I don't even know. I'm just learning about Shannon Sharpe within this year. So, listen, I ain't picking no sides, right? We do know that women sit here and try to trap men, doing things like this, especially when they got bread. Could she be a gold digger or is she really a victim is the question. Was she chasing that bag or is she a victim? Is what I want to know. What up, Nine? Damn. I can't seem to say what up, Nine no more the way I was. Shit. What up, Nine? Commander said, how do you know what white women sound like on pornos? Listen, I watch TV. I don't watch porno. But when you're watching the movies and shit and they're imitating the porno videos and they be with that fake moaning and all that bullshit, and I'm not going to sit here and lie. I've had people sit here and try to show me. Like, listen, as crazy as it sounds, yes. Motherfuckers like, listen to this. I don't want to hear that shit. Like, I could sit here and imitate what them bitches sound like. It's fake as shit. I'm sitting here like, yo, the way these females be sounding and the way we sound is completely different. Because I'm not going to sit here and lie. I've sat here and walked in situations that, listen, I've had to turn the fuck around. I don't know. Like, if I had Red Bull, I would have landed on a roof somewhere. Like, you know what it is to be chilling with your friends sometimes and you're walking into the room. Like, I'm sitting here like, yo, you could have told me that this was going to go from, you know, from us chilling to us having a porn video site right now. I'm sitting here like, oh shit, like what the fuck? Like, yo, I don't even know what the fuck to do. Do I put my head on the ground like a fucking ostrich or do I run like a fucking flamingo? Like, so I've been in situations, and yes, when there's people there trying to show me certain things, and I'll be like, shit is fake. I ask questions. How can you sit here? Listen, I walked into a room one day, right, while my brother was sitting here, and all you heard was, I'm not gonna do it because I got kids in the house, but y'all get my point, right? And I'm sitting here like, get the fuck out of here, motherfucker. You could have locked the door. I didn't want to walk into this shit. Fucking jelly-filled room, lotioned up chairs and shit. What the fuck? So it's not like I ain't hear or seeing parts of what these. I'm sorry to say. Listen. It makes me sick to my stomach because you'll be like, listen, I could be flexible, but there's no way in hell. Listen, I want my insides to be safe and I want my throat to be safe. All right. Commander is funny as hell, yo. Like, I never claimed to not ever seen one. I don't like watching that shit. To me, it's stupid. I don't see the point of it. Watching another person having sex with another person doesn't turn me on. It really doesn't. I'll be looking at this. What's crazy is I would turn this shit into some scientific type shit. People don't even understand that. What makes people want to do this? What would make somebody do something like this in front of somebody else? Like the Shannon Sharpe shit. I would turn this into some scientific type shit. Like I would want to, like, listen, if I was a scientist, I would want to experiment on Shannon Sharpe's brain. Like a 56-year-old man, right, wanting to sit here and have a relationship, right, or have a 20-something-year-old woman as a mistress. Like, he didn't even take heed when freaking Cat Williams and Monique told him to stop doing that shit. So apparently it seems like it's not the first time. Shannon Sharpe is into way younger women, as old as he is. And in Spanish, we would call him un viejo rabo verde. Un viejo rabo verde. That's what the fuck he is. I'm sorry. Like, he's a freaky, perverted old man. Like, really? Really? Like, OMG, just keep your Johnson in your pants. But, like, grandpa, everything on you is fucking wrinkly and it fucking wobbles to the floor. I don't understand how younger women want to be with older men. Like, I get it. Some of them are in shape. But still, man. But that's my opinion. I'm not saying every woman should think like that. I mean, listen, if you want an older man, that's on you, man. That's your taste. I can't sit here and tell you what to do. Me, I prefer a man my age or 5 years older than me no older. I mean, the most I've done, let me see, it's been 7 years older than me. But listen, I have a rule. I'm good. I'm good with the older men. I don't want to feel like I'm laying in bed with abuelito. And I'm good with the younger men because I feel as though that makes me a predator, right? I feel like I'm a whole crib snatcher. I got kids. I don't know. I just can't picture myself with somebody way younger than me. I'll put myself in jail. I'll build a casket for myself if I ever in my life get interested in a fucking young man. I swear to fucking God. But let's continue. Well, we'll figure out the scientific reason on why men in their 50s and 60s are interested in women in their 20s, knowing they still behave like little girls. All right, my bad. Green root old man. Yep, viejo rabo verde. Green root old man.
Second audio recording, I'm going to play that in just a moment. Some context. $10 million was actually already offered before the $50 million lawsuit came. We're going to get into that as well. There's new information we did not know.
So if he offered $10 million before the $50 million lawsuit came about, that means that there's got to be some truth behind this. Or he just wanted to, just shut everything down, cease and desist everything on some real shit. He didn't want this to really get out there, but it got out there. The Shorty was chasing a bag and boy fell for a trap. Right? I'm not going to go by, what everybody else says. You know why I say that? Right? Because I don't know if she's one of them chicks that I see out here, right, in their 20s, 30s, right, sitting out here trying to role play with older men. There's plenty of females out here within our communities, right? I'm in Philadelphia, North Philadelphia, right? HP section, right? And I've seen a lot of females sit here want to role play that fucking, I want to feel like, you're my kidnapper, you're my rapist, let's do this, I want you to talk to me like you're abusing me, and I want you to, give it to me rough, like, and I be telling these men, one of these days, that's just going to turn around and you're going to jail. First of all, y'all don't sit here and think that these text messages is evidence if she wanted to flip the scripts around, right? She wanted to say this is abuse, you're screwed. Because in reality, right, y'all could be sitting here talking about y'all want to do this, but y'all texting, right? And then she could be recording the parts that she wants to record out of this conversation and turn it into this. Listen, it's not my first time seeing shit like this. And this is why I'm so calm right now, and I'm going to wait for more updates after today's live, right? I want to get more. I want to see, what's going to happen after this. This might turn out into him paying out this money. She might get away with this, especially with that audio. Because he seemed a little aggressive on the audio. I get where people are coming from, but I'm taking this the legal way. If this was presented in front of a judge, I don't think this would look so good on Shannon's side, right? And that's why I asked the question, should personal behavior off camera impact a public figure's professional opportunities? Why or why not? What steps can society take to ensure justice is served fairly in cases involving powerful individuals? And how do we address the potential misuse of legal systems for personal or financial gains? What lessons can be learned from this case about consent, communication, and accountability?
Prior, here's the second audio.
Anything I say, you're just gonna get mad at, and you're just gonna hang up on me. So I feel like
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
What does that even mean?
What does that even mean?
You want to be to me now, so
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm gonna choke the out of you when I see you. Thank you.
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Hold up, wait.
Choke. You want to be to me now, so
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm gonna choke the out of you when I see you.
Yo.
Thank you.
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Wait, is there something missing in this audio? If you say that word one more time, I'm gonna effing choke you when I see you. Then he takes a good pause and says, "Thank you." I'm hoping. Listen, if he just couldn't keep his dick in his pants and got caught up, right? A little short honey, right? Paid him some attention. She probably wanted the attention, and in the beginning he didn't want to give it to her, but then he, like temptation. You see, he fell for temptation and couldn't, keep his cool. The word manipulate, manipulation. So I don't know. It seems like Shannon Sharpe has fallen into, the trap.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter.
Put it up for mass. Earlier this week, we reported on Shannon Sharpe facing a massive civil lawsuit while negotiating a $100 million podcasting deal, including explicit text, recordings are revealed now. I'm sure more is to come. A reminder, the legal action was filed by, on the record, Jane Doe, represented by the same lawyer who unsuccessfully pursued Jay-Z in a similar case brought last year. Accuses Sharpe of assault.
She's a Dusty Bunny baby, yup.
Sexual assault, battery, sexual battery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The lawsuit filed on April 20th by the unidentified woman alleges that Sharpe sexually assaulted her multiple times in late 2024 and early 2025. And I want to remind everyone that while this is a civil case, this could and is likely under investigation criminally. There is no suspended statute of limitation here. They are well within the statute of limitation to investigate as a criminal matter. So some have been asking about that, and yeah, he's not out of the statute of limitation for charges, potentially. According to the complaint, the New York Post reports the woman claims she and Sharpe were in a, quote, rocky consensual relationship for nearly 2 years before the alleged incidents occurred. According to new reports, Sharpe's attorney, Lanny Davis, revealed that the NFL veteran previously offered $10 million to the alleged victim to avoid the case becoming public in a press conference.
That's what it was. He didn't want the case to become public. But if you ain't got nothing to hide, why worry about anything? And that's what it was, these conversations. But we don't got the full conversations. We got clips of a conversation. We don't know what was being said in between. And that's why I don't like situations like this. So I don't know. If it goes to trial, I'll wait for the trial. If not, it seems like she's going to end up winning this $50 million lawsuit. I'm not sure.
Davis provided additional context surrounding the $50 million suit filed by his ex-girlfriend. So the multi-million-dollar offer was made during mediation conversations this past month. She walked away from the offer. Quote, "It was a big shock to us when suddenly this case was filed without any advance warning," Davis said. Recently, the accuser released a recorded conversation in which Sharpe can be heard saying, quote, "I'm going to effing choke it out of you," end quote. She began the consensual relationship with Sharpe, later alleging citing controlling and physical abuse.
Sharpe
Another
fucked
quote,
up.
"He demanded complete control over her time and body," Busby issued in a statement, expecting her to be at his.
Oh shit! So now he trying to be somebody master? Oh snap! So that's why she said you're not gonna sit here and try to manipulate. Oh, he was mega mind. So he had these special powers where he would look at her and say, "Bitch, you gonna do what I say," and she'll be like, "Yes, master. Yes, master. You have to look at tus digas. Dígame, dígame, patrón, dígame." I can't. I'm done. Like, damn, Mega Mind. We got a couple Mega Minds around here that apparently seem to sit here and control and manipulate women's minds. Women, you gotta do something about that. Snap out of that. What can we do? I don't know. Is it some type of voodoo they putting on women right now? Shit. They say we put the juju on men. Are they putting the juju on us? Shit. Where does that doesn't talk about nothing about no safe words. Let's go back a little bit. Right here.
The New York Post reports the woman claims she and Sharpe were in a, quote, rocky consensual relationship for nearly 2 years before the alleged incidents occurred. According to new reports, Sharpe's attorney, Lanny Davis, revealed that the NFL veteran previously offered $10 million to the alleged victim to avoid the case becoming public. In a press conference, Davis provided additional context surrounding the $50 million suit filed by his ex-girlfriend. So the multi-million-dollar offer was made during mediation conversations this past month. She walked away from the offer. Quote, "It was a big shock to us when suddenly this case was filed without any advance warning," Davis said. Recently, the accuser released a recorded conversation in which Sharpe can be heard saying, quote, "I'm going to effing choke it out of you," end quote. She began the consensual relationship with Sharpe, later alleging citing controlling and physical abuse. Another quote, "He demanded complete control over her time and body," Busby issued in a statement, expecting her to be at his house on his schedule, at his command whenever he called. According to the suit, late 2024, she attempted to end the relationship with the nightcap host, which allegedly led to Sharpe sexually violating her. That is in the claim. She claims the abuse occurred again in January of 2025. There are people responding on TikTok and other social media apps. So for some context, here's some of those responses.
And y'all wonder why Tracy Ellis Ross is happily single. And as far as we know, Regina King is single and Regina Hall is single and Nia Long is now single, because the men in their proximity, their direct proximity, not only their proximity, their age mates, out here doing like Shannon Sharpe.
Shannon Sharpe is a prime example of all of these men talking about women ain't. They just gonna be alone. But behind the scenes, you texted a 19-year-old teenager about big black baby gravy.
Start dating in your age bracket and maybe you won't have these problems. I said what I said.
I would like to know less about you. I would like to know less. Do.
I remember when actress comedian Monique, we've had her on the program a couple of times, when she went on Club Shay Shay, she said something in a way that was from the heart, is her way, but she gave him a warning. And this sister talks like this to individuals that she actually has care and respect for. And obviously she was offering this as advice, but Twitter's reminding everyone of it. Here it is.
Come on. Oh, they talk to us. How this dating thing? Because it's Mo is different now than when you and I.
It's different, baby. I'm grateful I'm not 56 and trying.
That's when, yeah, Monique.
What you trying to say? Mo,
I'm looking right at you. I ain't backing down. You better take your old ass and get somebody to love you.
Damn, Mo.
Now I'm looking right at y'all. Let me tell y'all what Shannon needs. Let me tell you what my baby needs. He need him an old fat gal who can bake good cakes, make some smothered turkey wings, who gonna rub his feet at the nighttime, okay, and gonna have a sip of his cognac to make him feel better about himself when he come home at night. That's what Shannon needs. You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl.
I do.
This is your auntie talking to you.
Said
Take
I
your
do.
ass and get you an old bitch out there that can.
He said, I see some man. Listen, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't expect the fucking horse to drink that water. And that's what Shannon Sharpe is, an old fucking man that you cannot teach new tricks to. An old man that is set in his old ways. And listen, he want what he want. He gonna get how he want it. And you know, in this era, that shit don't work. So I mean, you set yourself up pretty good. You fell for the trap. I mean, listen. And this is what happens. Like, listen, you can't sit here and give certain type of advice when you, how can I say, are doing the same thing that you're trying to advise people not to do. That's very contradictory, very hypocritical.
Love you old.
Oh, she's not a victim. All right, I know she's not a victim, but neither is he. That's the crazy part. Neither is he. I've never seen a case where I've had to say that neither one are victims like this, that I've reacted to. Neither one are victims.
Obviously laced with the comedic characteristic of Monique. Stephen A. Smith, colleague, friend. I actually watched his podcast when he went live to discuss this. Obviously, a significant situation and probably an uncomfortable one. Stephen A. Smith reveals what ESPN heads think about explosive Shannon Sharpe allegations. Quote, to be clear, even though this podcast is owned and operated by me solely, it does not mean that I'm going to be dismissive of ESPN, who employs me in my daytime job on First Take. So I sit here before you today, letting you know that they are aware, Smith said. He continued, quote, I can tell you, I also spoke to co-chairman of Disney, the boss, who made it very clear, that we are taking this matter very seriously, and we are looking into this very, very closely. Once we gather as many facts as we possibly can, we will go from there. All right. Shannon Sharpe was nearing a $10 million settlement with the accuser before the bombshell lawsuit. Shannon Sharpe was in the midst of a mediation with the woman who accused him of sexual assault when she filed the civil lawsuit. Quote, without warning, according to his attorney, Lanny J. Davis. Now, there is no requirement for warning. I just want everyone to know that. In a virtual press conference, virtual press conference to address the matter Tuesday, the attorney Davis said his client was, quote, was willing to pay the client, quote, at least. That's an interesting context, right? At least $10 million in a settlement. Another quote from the attorney. It was a big surprise to us a few days ago when this case was filed, Davis said. Davis played a recording of Sharpe's statement he released on Instagram Tuesday, calling it.
But I have a question. Do they have the full recording? Or is it just that little clip of the audio? Listen, we're just coming to conclusions, right? By them just giving us little clips. Where is the full audio? Where's the full conversation? If she got that clip, she got the full conversation. Why won't she release the whole conversation? Not just bits and pieces of it. See, I see her right now. Listen, and I know a lot of women gonna get mad at what a shorty is saying, but I'm looking at her as a gold digger. I'm not looking at her as a victim or none of that. She's a gold digger. She was chasing the bag. She wanted Shannon Sharpe to sit here and plant, a big black baby in her, like she said. Why? Because she wanted that money. 56 years old. In a few years, old head croaks. and she get everything. Well, the child does, really, but she seemed like them type of moms. By the time the child get older, that child ain't gonna have shit. Why? Because she used all that shit up. Gold digger.
Get a shakedown by his accuser and deny the allegations against his client. Two things that are worthy of mention. Stephen A. Smith did say in the beginning of his show that Shannon Sharpe is not only a colleague, but a friend before he got into that context. Another dynamic, when Shannon Sharpe gave his direct video through social media, he had a lot of details about what they probably were going to release. And he gave some of that information. Now we know how he knew, because they were in the middle of settlement negotiations prior to the lawsuit being filed. All right, a lot of twists and turns. I actually do not believe.
Yo, they were in the middle of negotiations prior to the lawsuit being made, right? So you telling me that y'all not seeing what I'm seeing? They were in the middle of negotiations. Straight up gold digger. What lessons can be learned from this case about consent, communication, and accountability? How can communities better support survivors of sexual assault while ensuring due process? What impact do such allegations have on the broader conversation about power dynamic in abuse? And what's crazy, right? Let me tell y'all this, right? If it's if it's not true that Shannon Sharpe sexually assaulted her like she said, right? And it's hard to prove it like this with the he say, she say thing, right? If it's not true, this woman is doing nothing more than just making it harder for future victims to come forward. Because of women like this, it's hard for actual women that go through these type of tragedies to go in front of a judge and a judge actually believe the case. This is why we question a lot of women in cases like this. It's hard to tell in this era now who is an actual victim and who is actually playing the role of a good gold digger portraying to be a victim to get what they want. What impact, right, do such allegations have on the broader conversations about power dynamic and abuse? How do we navigate the complexities of public opinion when both sides present conflicting narratives? What I mean by conflicting narratives, my bad, is that, look at right here in this situation. There is a conflictive narrative right here with them, right? We have a situation where you can see that both sides, right? Listen, these are two adults, right? They were having consensual sex. Somewhere along the line, it went left, and now the woman is saying and screaming, "Great!" This is like, as a survivor, right? As a surviving warrior, right? I feel as though this has to stop. What can we do to stop this? Situations like this, right? Because there are actual victims out there that are going through something. There are actual victims out there, right? Little girls, little boys, they go through grooming, they go through sexual assault. There are grown-ass women out here. They have to deal with these type of situations in real life, while we got women out here that want just to grab a bag and diminish what these women have accomplished. We made it so far to hear the voices of all the victims, right? Justice for all the victims. Let's put away, hashtag, let's put away all predators, all pedophiles, yours, his, hers, mine's. It doesn't matter whose. What are your thoughts on how public figures should address accusations like these? Should they step away or face it head on like Shannon Sharpe is doing? Oh, and by the way, my bad. What up, man? We got Stoic in the building. Blessings, Stoic, my bad. I got to show you some love. Stoic, I'm so sorry. My bad. T-Rail in the building. Blessings. Welcome in, T-Rail. I'm so sorry. I was caught up on this, John. And I am trying so hard, right, not to go in, right? Because it's fucked up. If Shannon Sharpe did not do what this woman is alleging that he did to her, she's only fucking it up for people that actually do need help.
What we have on
Facts, Stoic. I gotta put this up there so people can see it. Facts, Stoic.
public record is the full extent of what they have on Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe has said these are edited videos. Basically, he's saying they are taken out of context. And then he provided text messages showing that there's a level, at least, of sexual dynamics connected to some of this language. It doesn't mean that.
Oh, so he's already saying what I was already assuming. And like I said, where's the full audio? You could tell that these are just clips. She could have clipped any part that could make this man sound bad. And until we get more proof and more evidence, I'm not going to sit here and say this man is guilty. These are two grown consenting adults. Now the question is, did he actually grape her like she's accusing him of? And how does that get proven?
That is it all the way through and every time it is said. But he provided that text context. Now, none of us were there. And no matter what happens, none of us will ever have been there.
Facts.
And it seems as if this is going to some dynamic of evidentiary equality, because a court at some point is going to demand that this evidence be produced unless a settlement is reached prior, which it seems as if that's not happening now. All right, dear brother, a lot of elements here. Thoughts?
Are you sure you don't want to talk about something like Israel and Palestine, something a lot less controversial? Because I don't know if I feel extremely comfortable talking about this particular topic simply because of all the nuances that it brings forth. I do want to say that in the court of public opinion, everyone is always found guilty, and that content without context is not information. That being said, clearly Shannon Sharpe is in the wrong, if for nothing else, for not being careful and not heeding the words of so many Black women that have come to his aid, including my colleague and friend Monique, who spoke up and spoke out in regards to his dating life. You saw the TikToks. We all know where it's going. Now, I heard the words. I do not know if I heard the anger that's being prescribed by the victim in this situation, but I did hear the words. There are words sometimes taken out of context. If I say I kill you on the basketball court, I shouldn't be locked up for murder. If I say I'm the bomb, I shouldn't be locked up for terrorism, except.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if the Shannon Sharpe and this chick was role playing, and and stuff like that. We don't know what was happening behind the scenes at all. So, man, until I get more proof and more evidence, I'm not going to sit here and say Shannon Sharpe did this at all.
Under this administration, anything is possible. I do know that Shannon Sharpe said some inappropriate things that is just a part of a collection. Now, if there's a lot more, then that's what we have to go based on. I don't know the full story, but neither do you. The only two people that do is Shannon Sharpe and the victim, alleged victim in this case. And there's always two stories, two sides to every story, and then there's the truth. And the truth lies in between. I do know that this isn't the first time that white women's tears have created this animosity towards a Black male. I also know that it's not the first time that someone we consider a celebrity or famous has done something possibly wrong, and we defend them instead of the victim. So a lot is yet to be seen.
A lot is yet to be seen and guaranteed to come.
And that's true. It's not the first time, right, where we see, how can I say, women, white women do this. Y'all know the biggest case known for this, right? Timid. Hold on one second. Oh, wait. No, not yet. That's not what I was trying to show. He said, of course, sex makes you sick. See, but I feel as though they was, she's that type of chick. I don't know if y'all have seen chicks like that, right? That'll sit here and like to role play and have the guy, how can I say, Hold on one second. I'm so sorry. They don't sit here and say, you know, I want you to talk rough to me. I want you to talk dirty to me. You see where I'm coming from? When they have sex, it has to be rough, dirty. There's always got to be some type of hidden involved, like some madam type shit. But it's like, once again, like he said, it's not the first time where a white woman has screamed, you know, something like this. I mean, if y'all go back further back, y'all remember Emmett Till? What happened to Emmett Till? The show for all to view. People use it for their own gain. In the old days, love was pure and true. Now it's just a show for all to view. People use it for their own gain, leaving hearts in sorrow and pain. Once a sacred bond, now just a game. Hearts are broken, never quite the same. Love used to be a beacon bright, now it's lost in the shadows of the night. Oh, how we long for those days of yore, when love was honest forevermore. But now it's twisted, tainted and cruel, leaving us drowning in an endless pool. What can we do? In the spiritual world, all seems bright, but shadows lurk in the dead of night. Half of humanity wears a wicked guise, evil deeds hidden behind virtuous eyes. Beneath the surface, a darkness lies, massive deceit veiling their lies. In this realm where good and evil collide, the line between them is blurred, hard to decide. So tread carefully in this world so grand, for not all that glitters is gold in the sand. In the spiritual realm where illusions endure, evil and good dance in eternal obscure. Just imagine that. Karma doesn't ask you how you want it, it just comes and take it. So be careful how you treat others on your way up the ladder, because your way down, trust me. In a world of empty stares, fake love fills the air. Sincerity's distant glare, leaving hearts in deep despair. Truth is lost in a web of lies, hiding behind deceitful eyes. Love that fades and slowly dies, leaving us with heavy sighs. Aching souls in a loveless land, yearning for a genuine hand, but fake love rules with cruel demand, leaving us to understand. In this age of like and retweets, we've forgotten what real love truly means. It's not just about show and tell, but a feeling that makes our heart swell. It's hard to know who's true and who's fake in a world where appearances are hard to shake. But real love is deeper than a profile pic. It's in the way that someone makes your soul click. So let's not get lost in the digital haze. Let's remember what real love truly conveys. It's not about followers or online fame, but a connection that sets our hearts aflame. In this world of make-believe, they all wear a smile. But behind the scenes, it's just a clever guys, puppets in their show, dancing in their stage. We're all just pieces of their charade. Beneath their mask of joy lies the tangled web, where secrets and deceits are carefully bred. Their lovey-dovey act is just for display. We're all caught up in their twisted play. So let's break free from this illusion so grand and see through the facade with hearts unplanned. No longer pawns in their game of charade. Let's find our own path and not be swayed. I feel like I'm surrounded with people with strings attached to their back, waiting for their master's command. It's like when I was little, right, and I was reading Pinocchio. Every time that he told a lie, his nose grew. It's just that, you know, in real life, their noses don't grow. Karma just catches. In the shadows we see a love so pure and meek, but all that's left is a ghostly echo, a memory bleak, longing for a bond that's true in this world so cold and weak, yearning for the love we knew before the all turned antique, lost in illusions of affection, bleeding like the mist, hollow hearts yearn for connection, any realm dismissed, seeking solace in echoes of the past where love truly exists, but all we find are mere reflections of what love once kissed. Amidst the ruins of our hearts, we search for something real, yet all we grasp are faded echoes of what used to appeal in this world where love has become just a commodity to steal. It's just a little food for thought. And it's a fact, yo. That's some real shit right there. And that's what, like, you know, what Shannon Sharpe is looking for, right? Like he's looking for love so real and meek. But in the process, that's what he found, that 25-year-old, you know, Dusty Bunny. So they've been talking about TikTok. Before we end this live, right? I would love to hear your comments down below. We're going to watch a couple of videos on TikTok to see what is, you know, what's going so viral on TikTok about Shannon Sharpe, right? But before we get to these videos, right, let me ask y'all a couple more questions. Do y'all believe that, do y'all believe personal action should always affect someone's professional career? Or is there a line? What lessons can be drawn from this situation to create better conversations about consent and accountability? And how does these cases affect how we think about responsibility of media in covering sensitive allegations? What steps should society take to ensure truth and justice prevail in high-profile cases like this? How do scandals involving celebrities shape the way we talk about power and responsibility? What do you think about the role of public opinion in cases like this? Can it ever be unbiased? In your view, how can these situations lead to broader discussion about respect, trust, and boundaries? I would love to hear your comments down below, right? And let's get the discussion started. So we got a few videos here. Everybody, I guess, is talking about Shannon Sharpe. So let's see. I know TikTok and Twitter, they is going viral. I think I'm gonna get on Twitter on here one day so y'all can see what's popping on Twitter. I need to get on my Twitter. Damn, boy makes a sense. Yo, the bull just said 100 times. Come on, bro. 100 times though, but he makes a point. Listen, if a woman links up with a man 100 times, and every time she linked up with the bull, it was nothing but abuse, why keep going? The majority of the times, yo, we get ourselves in situations, right, knowing that we shouldn't be in a situation, but we constantly there, knowing that we have the option to stay or leave. And a lot of women and a lot of men decide to stay in a toxic relationship, whether it's friendship-wise, right, or relationship-wise. And I'm not even sharing the screen, am I? Y'all didn't see
Come
that.
on, bro. 100 times? You linked up with him 100 times and you want us to believe majority of those times it was abuse? Come on, bro. Don't scroll. Reports are finding out that the OF Shorty that is suing Shannon Sharpe for 50 mil claiming essay and abuse has linked up with him about 100 times and kept going back. What make it worse, all their link ups, they were doing what she was asking in those messages. All that crazy stuff. It makes sense now why the phone conversation mentioned choking. This man, y'all over 100 times? You could call out Shannon Sharpe for Shorty being 20 and the things they did. You feel me? But ain't no way anyone can sit here and actually believe this lawsuit. 100 times he moved, you moved after him to the same location to be around him. You want us to believe that 100 times that y'all linked up, every time you ain't want to or you felt unsafe? Why you kept going back? 100 times? Come on, bro. I'm just here reporting the news. I don't have a leg in this race. What do you guys think about this whole situation?
He said, I'm just here reporting the news. I don't have a leg in this situation, but 100 times, bro? Yo, but see, once again, this goes back. I feel as though there was some type of role playing. We don't have the full audios, right? She only put out clips. Even though, right, even if he was set up, right, he fell into this trap knowing that he was being set up. That's why he wanted the Shorty to sign the NDA, whatever that thing is called, right? But they never got out about to signing that NDA. But damn, Shannon, you should have been sharper than this. You should have been smarter than this. You should have known that you was getting played. Like somebody here, do y'all believe that he ruined his career? Somebody said he ruined his career. None of us. I mean, I don't know. It could. I mean, I don't know if the bull heard the audio, but the audio is not helping Shannon, because you got to realize, right? When you take this to the courts, right? She's probably is in her early 20s, right? She probably is jealous. She probably found out Shannon was probably banging another shorty and is jealous and is coming out with all this. Like, oh yeah, motherfucker. Like, she's probably stigmatized. Like, yeah, motherfucker, you out here banging this shorty, that dick is mine. Who the fuck you think you is? Who the fuck that shorty think she is? What is yours is mine. What's mine is mine, motherfucker. We going to court. I don't care what I gotta tell the judge, but you going down. I'm gonna watch this. We got conversations. You forgot we got conversations, motherfucker. I'm gonna bring you down no matter what, by any means necessary. Point blank, period. Yo, this shorty was, yo, I'm telling you. I don't know what is it with these grown ass men. Like, okay, if smart women is what you're into, then why the fuck do y'all get with ratchet ass females? See, because age ain't nothing but a number, yes, right? But there are certain women that are in their 20s that haven't, you know, their mentality is still childish. There are women that are in their 30s and 40s and 50s with a childish mentality still. And if there's still women in their 30s and their 40s, right, like that, why the fuck y'all men want to go younger? Instead of finding a woman y'all age, right? Or if y'all do come across a woman in her 20s that is already, you know, mentally developed a little bit in her head, and all you got to do is just mold her to your liking, right? And I'm not talking about grooming, right? Mold her to your liking. What I'm saying is that when they're in their 20s, you know, listen, after a while, you get used to being with that person, and what this person does, you do sometimes. Y'all even get to talking the same sometimes. So I don't want people to misunderstand what I'm saying, because I know there's other people in the background that turn shit into other shit. They want to turn people's words, twist it up, and add shit up to it, man. Hold on, wait a minute. Somebody in the comments said 100 times no crime. Unc in his prime. Lakers in. OMG. Yo, listen, man. Unc was in here. He's like, shorty, man. Your garage is free. Let me park my car in this bitch. Hold up. Let me get off this John and just plant this little gravy baby in you. Shit. Oh, wait. I didn't even know people was in the comments. I'm so sorry. It's called the entertainment machine. Money can cloud your heart. If Shannon can get it, Shannon will bask in it. Facts. It don't matter the public figure. People who look to deceive for money need some wicked shit. Oh, this is some wicked shit. It just looks bad for women because most women won't do this. Facts. That's some real shit. But you know what's crazy? Unfortunately, stoic, some women don't give a fuck. They don't care how ratchet they look. They're going to get what they want to get. And some men are stupid enough to fall for the shit the women do. She tried, she lied, she cried, Lakers in. Baby gravy, big black baby. They both crazy, Lakers in 5. Shannon Sharpe did nothing wrong. Here's why. Shannon Sharpe did nothing wrong. Here why are people hating. I'm guessing he was trying to say here is why people are hating. Shannon Sharpe did nothing wrong. Here's why. I'm guessing he meant to put people over here and R over here. Okay, so I'm going to say it like this. Let me fix it up. Shannon Sharpe did nothing wrong. Here's why people are hating. Shaking my head. If anything, he's the victim here. A woman is trying to extort him and ruin his reputation. Well, listen, I wouldn't call him a victim. He knew what the fuck he was getting into. He just thought that he can control the situation, and that shit backfired in his ass. He was trying to pull some PDD type shit like, oh yeah, I got money, I got power, I got influence, I got this. Bitch, watch me. And that shit just smacked him in the face, man. Listen, karma hits you however you perceive that shit, man. If you do good, man, listen, you can embrace karma. If you do bad, well, that bitch gonna hunt you with no grace. And she's not gonna ask you how you want it.
Here's everything you need to know about the Shannon Sharpe lawsuit. I mean, you probably don't need to know any of this, but now that you've been added to the group chat, whether you wanted to or not, you might as well catch up and know the facts. Shannon Sharpe, Pro Football Hall of Famer, media personality. I saw as of recently he was supposed to sign an $100 million media deal. He is facing a lawsuit where he is getting accused of rape, assault, shaker, and battery. And
that is kind of crazy though, right? He was getting this money deal, right? He was about to, shut the deal and everything, and boom, here come these lawsuits. his career about to be ruined because of what was being said about the lawsuit and what he did, blah 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 blah. It's kind of, I don't know. Listen, it's crazy. It is crazy. And it says that somebody over here says, mind you, Shannon Sharpe was already fully retired from the NFL 3 years before she was born. I swear everything I learned about Shannon Sharpe is against my will. Once you reach unk status, it's time to leave the Gen Zs alone. Ah, shit. What the heck? A Major League fucktard? What is that?
Engaging in the intentional infliction of emotional distress. The lawsuit was filed anonymously in Nevada by Jane Doe, which means she's doing this all anonymously. I hope you didn't actually think her name was Jane.
Facts, though.
She said that she was in a rocky but consensual relationship with Shannon Sharpe for 2 years. She says that she met Shannon when she was 19 years old at a gym in Los Angeles in 2023. Keep in mind, Shannon is 56. I digress. They had a consensual relationship for around 2 years, and then he assault shakered her in October of 2024, and then again in January of 2025. This is Tony Busby. He's the one filing this lawsuit. He's a trial lawyer from Houston who has filed over 20 lawsuits against Sean Diddy Combs. He filed a lawsuit against Jay-Z, and now Shannon Sharpe. He also was a part of the legal team that won settlements against Deshaun Watson for being accused of SA of over 24 massage therapists.
All right, so since he can't put down Jay-Z or P. Diddy, he says, well, Shannon Sharpe seems like an easier target. That's what it is. You're going to start off with Shannon Sharpe. And if you could put Shannon Sharpe down, that'll be a step into trying to put Jay-Z and P. Diddy down. But I don't see Shannon Sharpe doing what Jay-Z and P. Diddy have been accused of. Now, what this lady is accusing him of, listen, let's put it like this. Neither one of these motherfuckers is innocent in this shit, all right? Let me get heard for y'all. Neither one of these motherfuckers is innocent in this shit. He wanted to park his car in her garage, in her young, freshly decorated garage, right? And she's into abuelitos. Let's put it like that. She's into grandpas. What the fuck? 19, 20 years old, age of consent. I'm not saying that is right? But are we going to come down at Shannon Sharpe so hard because he's a 50-something-year-old man that sat here and fucked up and, gave into lust, right? And fucked this 20-something-year-old girl, 19, 20, whatever, right? Then we might as well do it to the fucking women that are doing it too. All right, we might as well do it to the women too, because the women are doing it too. And guess what? The women are worse than the men. They'll go younger and way younger. The women will groom these little boys from the ages of fucking 5. Y'all, I think y'all missed that live where, I sat here and I showed y'all. We went on Facebook. We went on a Facebook hunt, right? And we came across these little fucking pictures where women were sitting here, right? Commenting on the pictures of mama's profiles, right? I'm talking about, mamas that are out here on Facebook, right? And they got pictures of their sons and stuff like that. Women that would sit here and say they would fuck these little boys. That's where I came up with the phrase, yo, man, listen, I don't want the son. I want the daddy. What the fuck can the son do for me? That's how I came up with that phrase. Like, man, fuck that. The son cannot give me what the daddy can give me. You got me fucked up. But unfortunately, we got men and women that are out here lusting for these teenagers, lusting for these young ass women and men. And the majority of them that they lusting for don't know how to wipe their own fucking asses. They can only count money to buy the things they want. But guess what? Their priority is not to sit here and cook a meal or to pay a bill or to clean a house. Real shit. Go where the bag at. Yeah, that's what they doing. And what's crazy is these young people are doing it. Men and women are both doing that in this era. They're going for the older women and men, right? Because they got a bag. And these older women and men are lusting over these younger women and younger men. Oh, because of why do you want to raise a kid? Lesser package, lesser bullshit. Let me tell you this, right? Lesser package, lesser bullshit, right? Basically, what you're saying is you want to raise a kid. That's what practically you're saying. But what y'all fail to realize is if they mama couldn't raise them, what the fuck? If they mama and they daddy couldn't raise them, what the fuck makes y'all think y'all can raise them? Sometimes, yeah, you come across, a situation where you date somebody that's young and it's easy to mold them. Yeah. But that's not always the case. There's too many of these young women that just want the money. And they'll fuck the ugliest motherfucker out here. It don't matter if this motherfucker could look like a dog. She don't care. She'll put a paper bag on that nigga and fucking ride him. All right? She'll ride him like she riding a Harley Davidson and not give a fuck. Make him come 100 times if she could. Just to get that bag. Men do the same shit. Men will sit here and put deep into a fucking old ass bitch just to get a money or just to get a PlayStation. Just to have a room to stay in and have food and have games all day to play. And they don't have to go to work. Why? Because this female out here is giving him bread and some shelter. Why? Because he's giving her some good eggplant. She don't got to sit here and stir fry the eggplant. No, she got that shit right there. All that money and they don't know how to spend it. That's some real shit because you don't know why. Money isn't what really makes you happy. You can have all the money in the world and you're never going to be happy. Money come and go. You know what never comes back? You know what never comes back? When you lose someone you care about. That person that owns your heart in reality, right? And sometimes we don't even know who the person is that owns that heart. That person, when that person is gone, the one you care for deep, and you notice that you can never say good morning, good night, I love you. You can never take back when you say I hate you, I'm mad at you. You see where I'm coming from? That you can never get back. But money come and go. I could rip $100 bill today. And because I'm a hustler tomorrow, I can make that bean back. You got me fucked up. In this John, we don't give up. It don't matter how many times we fall up in this John, we get the fuck back up. Because I was taught the harder you fall, the faster you get up. You shake that shit off and you keep it pushing. But nowadays, I don't know what is it. I don't know if it's learned behavior. I don't know what it is. But you got young men and women out here thinking that, all right, fuck it. We're going to make this old head happy and we're going to get that free money. And it works. Unfortunately, it works.
Jane Doe is seeking $50 million in damages. Shannon and his lawyers have denied all of this and called it a shakedown and an attempt to get millions out of him. Jane Doe said that Shannon progressively got more violent with her. He was recording their meetings, okay, without her consent.
So he got
also
video.
Says that he would threaten to off her if she denied his advances. Jane Doe's lawyers released an audio clip where Shannon said that he was going to choke the shit out of her. This audio sounded like a recorded phone call. Shannon's lawyers said that Shannon tried to offer her $10 million to settle the case before the lawsuit was filed, but she declined. Jane Doe's suit also refers to a separate lawsuit that Shannon is facing in New York with a woman named Michelle Evans, who claims that Shannon was in a relationship with her for over a decade, but assault shakered her during an argument in 2010. Shannon made a public statement on Instagram claiming that Tony Busby is orchestrating all of this to take down a black man and draw on racial stereotypes. This is where it gets weird and people are asking to be taken out of the group chat. Shannon's lawyers released explicit text messages from Jane Doe to Shannon to set the record straight. In these texts, she seems to be saying that she wants baby gravy and a big black baby in her. Then Tony Busby responded saying, yeah, but all of those texts
I'm sorry. She couldn't help but giggle. Yo, she young. She young too. She's she giggled too. Yo, I can't help but laugh. Because if y'all see these text messages, it's fucking funny and hilarious. I'm like, yo, they role playing. And now they taking this shit to trial, trying to get to people's hearts. They trying to soften our hearts to try to have us pick a side. Oh, he's this big bad monster. He couldn't help it. He's like Trump. He couldn't help it. He just grabbed the kitty cat. And she's just this little victim. She's just this little victim that at nighttime she's traumatized and she has dreams about Freddy raping in her dreams. The fuck?
Before the date of the alleged grape incident. I'll give my opinion in the next video, but please comment and tell me what you think.
Hey.
$10 million to settle the case before the lawsuit was filed, but she declined. Jane Doe's suit also refers to a separate lawsuit that Shannon is facing in New York with a woman named Michelle Evans, who claims that Shannon was in a relationship with her for over a decade, but assault shaker her during an argument in 2010. Shannon made a public statement on Instagram claiming that Tony Busby is orchestrating all of this to take down a Black man and draw on racial stereotypes. This is where it gets weird and people are asking to be taken out of the group chat. Shannon's lawyers released explicit text messages from Jane Doe to Shannon to set the record straight. In these texts, she seems to be saying that she wants baby gravy and his big Black baby in her. And Tony Busby responded saying,
yo, she couldn't help but giggle. She want his she want his she want his gravy and his big Black baby in her. Oh, I'm done. I'm just done. I'm just done. I just can't. Are these signs of a woman that's getting abused? It seemed like Shannon Sharpe was dicking her down good. He was pushing dick all up in her ribs, reaching her heart to the point when he tapped her heart, she caught emotions. And it seems like Shannon Sharpe was out there fooling with another chick, putting dick up in her, right? And you know, her emotions got tapped in. And I'm not talking the other chick that he's tapping. I'm talking about this one over here that's, you know, making the allegations. You know, when he was over there stuffing dick in that one, this one over here got in her emotions like, oh no, motherfucker, by any means necessary. That's why I want all the audios. Release each and every one of the conversations they got recorded. Release all the text messages, both sides, and watch this shit be like you watching a fucking Hollywood movie. Like you on Tubi right now with one Dutch in one hand. I like Jack Daniels and Jack Daniels in the other. Man, I don't know if y'all like Henny, Crown Royale. I don't know if y'all into that. What is it? Don Julio, Tito, right? Cavagier, whatever these fucking liquors are. I like Jack Daniels. So I'm gonna have one Dutch over here and Jack Daniels over here. It's like, yo, Hollywood on a fucking script. That's it.
and yeah, but all of those texts were sent before the date of the alleged grape incident. I'll give my opinion in the next video, but please comment and tell me what you think, because what the hell?
I'm saying the same thing, Shorty. What the hell? Stoic says, how on earth the Johnny Depp fiasco you think the public view has changed? Believe all women out? Laugh out loud, man. Believe all women. That ain't the case, yo. I'm mad I can't find my USB because y'all know I got the, equal rights for all poetry, but I can't find my little John, man. And I'm not on the StreamYard where the video is uploaded on. I gotta pay that John. So I'm on this one with a free trial because the Shorty is like Tasha K. I ain't got it right now, so StreamYard gonna wait. Listen, man, I don't portray to be fucking rich, but I ain't got that shit. I ain't paying StreamYard. So free trial it is, and that's what we dealing with. You got me fucked up. When I got it, StreamYard get paid. Shit, YouTube don't pay me. And I haven't really been on my TikTok to, be selling merchandise and shit. I need to get on my TikTok and start making some lives. I need to go over there and start up a Shannon Sharpe conversation, see what they say on TikTok. That's what I needed. Word, where you at? I want to go on TikTok. We need to go live on TikTok. Let's talk. Let's talk about it. Shannon Sharpe controversy, all right?
Well, what, Gabby?
Well, you're coming to LA tomorrow?
Oh, she in LA. See, I'm not the only one that's saying that her voice sounds weird. Look, somebody says shit. She sounds like AI. See, it's something up with her voice. Is she one of the Shannon? Is that a woman, or is that a transformer? I'm sorry. You know what? I'm not even apologizing. Fuck that. I meant that question, but I think I should have asked it a different way.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
I do stoic. I got my poems on the book, but then that means I got to pull all the books out to find which page the poem was on.
You're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Daddy.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Y'all see how there's like, you can see that this is edited because she said you're coming to LA, and then boom, like it's a pause, and then you hear her say, well, I'm not interested in getting choked. When did he ask her, does she want to get choked, or he's coming to choke her? See, there's parts of these clips missing. I want to hear the whole audio with no editing. The raw and uncut audio.
Yeah. I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
Oh, that's what he said. Big black guy chose small white woman. See, this is edited. There are parts clipped out of this audio.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you do what you did to me.
What the hell? See, something was missing there. A big pause. There shouldn't have been that.
Well, what? Well, what, Gabby?
See? Something missing. Monique scolded him. Kat told him. White girl showed him. Lakers in. Y'all keep running to them snow bunnies. As soon as things don't go the way they cry wolf, so sorry, but not sorry. If that's what y'all chose them, and say that us black queens are loud, rowdy, oh well. I just think he has a preference. He's into younger women. He has a preference. But something's not right in this story, once again.
Damn, man. Shannon Sharpe, man, keeping it real on the text. You know what I mean? He's going through his allegations right now, man. And all the people that he mentioned on the text, man, probably happy that he's going through that situation, man, because all that time, man, they thought that they were boys, man, and now they're starting to realize that the nigga Shannon Sharpe is a fake-ass nigga, man. You know what I mean? I was shocked to see Ocho Cinco on there. Just like everybody else, man, like, Ocho Cinco and Shannon Sharpe be having a good time, man, on their podcast, man. You think that they're best friends. That nigga said they're cordial. That's crazy, man. Most of the time, they sound like they got a lot in common, man. It's crazy. Still don't consider Ocho Cinco his boy or friend or nothing. He just, damn. It's like that, Shannon? Damn, man. Shannon don't give a damn about none of them. If you look at the list, man, it's a crazy list that he got right there, man. He don't like Shaq. I can kind of understand that, man, because if anybody knows Shaq, man, Shaq be playing too much, man. He do a lot of pranks, man. He almost like a big kid, you know what I mean? But I could kind of get that part a little bit. But Ocho Cinco, out of all people, Lil Wayne, what did Lil Wayne do? You know what I mean? Has Lil Wayne ever been on Shannon Sharpe podcast? He probably one time, if I'm not mistaken. He probably doesn't like how Lil Wayne speak. He probably can't understand Lil Wayne. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I mean, shit. He couldn't understand Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne probably didn't understand him. Listen, man. Shannon Sharpe has a lisp. Lil Wayne is just country ratchet sometimes. But Lil Wayne is smart as shit. Believe it or not, the motherfucker graduated college. For those of you that don't fucking know. Y'all just, listen, y'all need to do y'all research on these rappers and shit like that. But Lil Wayne, he ain't from the streets and shit like that. But the motherfucker's smart. All right. I know that if he wanted to, he could talk professional and good. But at the end of the day, man, like, I guess he talked the way, that's his lingo, the way he talks. And females love it. But Shannon Sharpe, you see, young bunnies, old bunnies, snow bunnies, all types of bunnies like Shannon Sharpe with his lisp and all.
I was trying to look for Cat Williams on there, but I didn't see his name on there. But it's a crazy list, y'all. It's a crazy list, man. That nigga said, Ocho. I'm sorry, man. Ocho Cinco is probably like the most shocking because if everybody knows that Ocho Cinco and Shannon Sharpe, right? They be having a good time on their podcast, man. Like they be having a hell of a time. You know what I mean?
Okay.
How in the hell did Ocho Cinco end up in that list? That's my question, y'all.
All right, so we're gonna have to look at the text messages, right, of Shannon Sharpe, because he's talking about the Shannon Sharpe, and it seems like he has a list of people, celebrities he don't like, and Ocho Cinco and Lil Wayne is in that John.
This Shannon Sharpe situation is like unavoidable at this point. The fact that he linked up with this girl over 100 times and was
oh my God, another guy that's stuck over 100 times they linked up. Yes, something's off with this story. But unfortunately, right? I mean, listen, I'm hoping, they get the situation straight. But I want to hear the whole audio. I don't want to hear a clipped up audio. Like, what did their conversation really sound like? Because it seemed like she clipped the worst parts of the conversation. The parts where he seemed real aggressive, but we don't even know if he was playing aggressive. Like, what is really going on? She a gold digger.
Engaging in 50 Shades of Grey activity with her. He thinking he the man, just crushing her doonies. Whole time she was building a Rico on him. Caught him in a whole bear trap. Imagine Shannon Sharpe having to go into court and explain this whole thing, and they're gonna be looking at him like, "Gang, you are 56 years old. What are you doing?" They're gonna look at him like a Diddy disciple.
Yeah.
100 times is kind of crazy. She's basic. Like, yeah, she thick, but she not all that in the face. How do you get finessed by a 20-year-old friends only model when you've been in the league for years? You had an entire career. You've been dealing with this from the jump. The same day that it was reported he was supposed to have 100 mil on the table was the same day that the allegations hit.
That's crazy. Yeah, and that's no lie. It happened on Easter Sunday too. I feel as though they just targeting him. Something's not right here. Like, could it be because he let Cat Williams on his podcast and let Cat Williams say what Cat Williams said, and now they targeting his ass? Because it is weird. It is really weird. 56 years old, Shannon. You should have known better. I mean, I know they're not pulling a prank on us. He's not pulling a Ashton Kutcher prank on us, is he? Like, shit. What is you doing, Shannon Sharpe? But you know what? I can answer your question. The problem with Shannon Sharpe was, right, before he retired, right, he got hit in the head with a football real hard. And somehow, his brain got a little discombobulated, and he can't tell right from left, right from wrong. He can't tell if, these are young, snow bunnies or older snow bunnies, fully mature bunnies. Like, he all twisted up in the head right now. 56 years old and you fell for this shit. I mean, a lot of them are. Shit, like Kevin Gates says, power of the pussy. She put some voodoo on this man.
Shannon Sharpe is temporarily stepping away from ESPN. He didn't do that on his own. They told him, bro, you're gonna have to take a break. because they probably know the situation. They just don't want to stick their neck out for them because that's how these companies are. These companies don't actually care about good or bad. They're just protecting their reputation. So now he's going to have to go through this long, drawn-out court process, probably countersue her for defamation of character and slander. It's going to take like over a year. Losing out on $100 million because you crushed some cheeks is crazy. This whole situation just sounds.
He said losing out on $100 million because you crushed them cheeks is crazy, yo. But listen, a little while back, I did a live, right? Should women go to jail for falsely accusing men, right? And it's crazy how a year later, we have another situation where we got a man that's involved with a woman that could possibly be falsely accusing him of sexual assault and more. So if it turns out that he's telling the truth and she's lying, should she go to jail? Because we know she's not going to have the money to pay him for defamation of character. She fucking trying to chase the bag off him. We definitely know she broke. She a gold digger. But if it turns out that he was telling the truth and she was falsely accusing him, should she go to jail? Should she face time behind bars? And this question goes out to all the men out there. I already know what the women gonna say, but I would love to hear the men's perspective. If it turns out that the women falsely accuse these men of the things that they accuse them of, should they go to jail for lying? One more video and I'm gonna end this live.
She's so young.
No, let's do 2 more videos and end this live. This is like a 31-second video. We'll do some TikTok reviews and reactions on the on one of these lives, but I'm not sure when.
Young bitch, she could pop up. 20. She 20. Darnell. 20. You. Why you didn't date her mom? Why you go for the?
No, there's no way, Shannon Sharpe. You coming at him for dating a 23-year-old while you was fucking stuffing dick on this 20-something-year-old like she was a turkey? You were the stuffing in this turkey. And you're coming at him for doing the same? No, there's hypocrisy here. There's no way.
Darnell.
Hey, believe it or not, Stoic, you know that after I did that live, I think it was a year ago, there are some places now where women are getting charged for falsely accusing. There's a law they're trying to pass, a policy, right? Where if women do lie, they will face jail time. So there are judges taking into consideration what I'm asking y'all men. There goes why I constantly keep asking that question. I want y'all to go do y'all research. Don't go, on what I'm saying. But in the justice system, it is being taken into consideration. Women going to jail for falsely accusing men of doing certain things. As y'all can see, listen, that'll be a topic for another live. And it'll be a great live. I'll do part 3 because we already did 2 lives on should women go to jail for falsely accusing men. How long? We don't know. That's still in the process. But either way is a step further than what we was the last time. Because back, till now, right, women don't get charged for this. Women get away with certain shit. Women can sit here, scream rape, get away with it, right? A man screams rape, a woman gets investigated. He gets in handcuffs before they ask questions. A woman screams rape, right? The man is already arrested. No questions asked. A woman screams abuse, right? A man is being investigated. A man screams abuse. The man is already arrested. A man screams abuse, the woman is being investigated. A man gets hit, it's unbelievable because he's supposed to be stronger. A man gets raped, it's not believable because he's a man. Gets questioned, gets bashed. But a woman does it, she doesn't. She doesn't get questioned. She doesn't get bashed. You see my point? So either way, right? We're getting somewhere that we wasn't before. We're doing things that we didn't do before. We're making changes that we wouldn't do before. Where there's a will, there's a way. Back then, people wouldn't even thought about charging a woman for falsely accusing a man. But now, we're trying to make it into a policy. We're trying to make it into a law. You see where I'm coming from? This is not back then. It's what I'm trying to get people to understand. We're in an era where we have a voice. We just choose not to air it because some people are scared for whatever reasons, or some people just don't know that they have a voice. I'm not like other people's. I'm not a fucking victim. You see where I'm coming from? I'm not saying this because of you, Stoic. I'm just saying out there, I'm speaking in general for other people, for those in the back. All right. I'm not a victim. I don't see myself as a victim. And when I fall, I try to find a solution. Right? So I don't stay on the ground, on my knees, trying to pray for a better. Nah, I want the solution. When I fall, I pick my ass the fuck back up and I look for that solution and I keep it pushing. That's how it should be, right? But if everybody sat here and went by that, right, there wouldn't be no money made, blah, blah, blah. I could just keep going. But things are possible. It's just that they want us to believe that it is not possible. Can y'all imagine the things that we could do united? People don't want to think like that, though. I'm sorry. Abuse of the system against a man should be recognized under the law. I agree. Facts, and that's what we're fighting for. Listen, I'm not just going to sit here and fight for women's rights, right? I fight for the man's rights too. Because whether people believe it or not, even though, right, it was a woman who managed to get the women's civil rights passed, right? If it wasn't a man backing her up, it wouldn't have been possible for that woman to sit here and accomplish that goal. And us women be in the position that we're in today. Our voices being heard. A safe space for us. Whether people want to hear it or not, a man backed that woman up, hand in hand together. You see where I'm coming from? The same way that people don't want to hear that the same way that there was blacks, the same way that we had black slaves, guess what? There were rich black owners who owned white slaves. People don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear it for whatever reason. Oh, that's not true. That's not possible. Yes, it is possible. Go dive down the history of the Moors and much more. Why there won't be no change? Because we scream change, but there's no action behind it. Words fly with the wind. We have to get up and act. Superman isn't coming. You want to live, love, and laugh? You got the power in your own hands to have a better tomorrow for yourself and then worry about others.
I didn't date her mom because why didn't I date her mom? What?
You like them young, though.
Facts,
Don't do that.
facts.
I don't like her. I don't like her young. She's so young that she could pop up. 20.
That's crazy. He came at this bull for being in a relationship with a 23-year-old, right? But he was sitting here shacking up with a 20-year-old, 3 years younger than the bull. See, that's why I say a lot of people don't have room to speak when they're doing the same thing that they're trying to give people advice for. There's contradiction in there. There's hypocrisy in there. Same way I say the same thing about Charlemagne the God. People are like, why you don't like him? I don't like him at all. I hate the fact that we have a man here, right, that is known for sexually assaulting a minor back in the day. He roofied this girl and did what he did to her, right? But it has the nerve to sit here and talk about rape? There's no way in hell. There's no way in hell. Him doing what he did, there's no room for him to sit here and give anybody advice or talk about cases that involve sexual assault. So when men sit here and try to give advice on the things that they're doing currently, it is just stupid. I don't get it. I don't even look at them right. I look at them side-eye. But guys, this is all the time that I got right now. We've been on this joint for a good little minute, right? Yeah, 3 hours already. Man, I appreciate everybody that's been rocking out with a Shorty. Y'all didn't have to be here, but y'all chose to be here today. I appreciate y'all, man. I want to, give a big shout out to my day one subscribers, my new subscribers. If it wasn't for y'all, listen, I wouldn't have made it this far. I want to say thank you to all those that rocked out with a Shorty. Y'all could have been anywhere else, but y'all rocked out with a Shorty all the way through. Like these 3 hours, y'all chilled, conversed with a Shorty, gave y'all perspectives and y'all opinions, and I appreciate y'all for that, man. And, I'm going to see y'all on my next live, right? Till next time. And leave y'all comments down below, man. I want to hear what y'all think, how y'all feel about these two topics, man. Let's get the discussion started. Throughout this whole live, I ask mind-provoking questions, and I would love to hear y'all opinions.